What's up, everybody? How's it going? Happy Thursday. Starting a little bit later tonight. I wanted to finish my dinner, and then Zach came in, and we started talking a little bit. So, got in a heated exchange between me and Breen, talking about how Dan Moore is going to be overworked.
Was that heated? Really?
I'm trying
I guess you're from up north, so you might not know what hot really is.
We're trying to build our brand here.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you wrestling fanatics. Excuse me.
Well, I'm sorry that you're just a normie who doesn't.
Wait a second. Branding only exists in wrestling.
I know,
well,
right?
The way y'all do it, I guess.
What do you think? What do you think? All these MCU stuff, it builds up to the
But they don't build it up via arguments or heated exchanges. Though.
Oh my god!
Welcome to Thursday night, best of the week on the Geeky Puppet Show.
Yes, they don't do the exchange.
Starring where three men with taste in comics get together with Zach.
Wait, are we three men in a box? Zach's the box.
I don't want to be that box. No. I want to have. No.
You notice he didn't push back on being the one without taste either.
Yeah, too. He's got taste, cardboard taste. Alrighty then.
Bad taste is still taste.
It's true. Bad eyesight is still eyesight. It's just not as good. So taste has to be the same way.
Alrighty though.
I'm siding with Jeff. That's what kind of night it's gonna be.
You're siding with death?
Jeff.
Oh,
although I can get the confusion.
But I was siding with the other two, so that means by siding with me, you're siding with them.
One of us. That's okay, Zach. We understand. We understand. So, alrighty then. So, got a few books tonight to show off, and I'm sure we got a lot of the same. And then Jeff has everything we don't buy.
Any back issues tonight?
I do have back issues tonight.
I do too. And if you didn't watch the Graphic Man show last night, you haven't seen them yet.
There was a Graphic Man show.
There was a Graphic Man show last night.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Me, Easy Comic Reader, Ranger Sly, and
I'm upset. I got no notification.
Oh God, who was? Who was the other one? That's terrible. I can't remember.
I admit, I did see it a couple on Sunday. Saw the one scheduled, and I just couldn't believe it. I thought I was seeing things. But
thought you were
no. But I was hanging out with Trusty and the last year as we were doing some recordings like we always do on Wednesday nights. So,
well, if I had known Graphic Man was doing something, I would have tuned in.
Well, you catch him on the replay.
I guess I will. I'll leave a comment.
Alrighty then. I have 10 books. I've only read 9 of them.
I think I have 10 books too, actually. I had a big week.
A big week?
A big week. Yeah. 10 is big for me.
Phrasing.
10 is a big week.
Alright. I guess we'll get this going. But a shout out to J, and J in the chat.
And Cheeseburger.
And hey, there's a cheeseburger.
I got you, Cheeseburger.
All we need is a Pepsi, and we can have a Saturday Night Live skit.
Do you love your cheeseburger? The only cheeseburger you love for you?
I had a cheeseburger last night that I loved.
Run, cheeseburger, come! All right. All right. So, 10 books. Rockefeller did not get a chance to read. But then I got to admit, though, this is a book that's kind of like, if I dropped off it, I really wouldn't miss it right now because it's moments, but it's nothing compared to the other kind of Ghost Machine books.
Read that one and then tell me if you still feel that way.
Well, I will say that's the best issue so far.
I agree.
I'm just saying, 6 issues in, it's kind of been like, all right, a little bit. The last issue started picking up, so I definitely will be reading it.
That's the curse of the modern comic, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was easily the best issue of the 6.
My least favorite of the week so far for coming in at number 9. It sucked. It was okay. It wasn't really groundbreaking. It's more world building this time, and that's probably why I just didn't really compare it to some of the books coming out this week. Art's decent, a lot better than Vatican City.
Vatican City.
The reason I like the art is because that's the guy who worked on American Vampire, Raphael.
I mean, yeah.
Basically, continuing from the story from last week, where this guy wants Huck to find this girl that saved his life these years ago. He's kind of has an infatuation with her. I think it's also an ulterior motive, though. He's got some ulterior motive that he really wants, I think he's putting on the act, but that's my theory. But they come across this guy who basically is working for his uncle. This guy has superpowers, kind of like pretty much like Invisible Woman at this point. And he's like, and his rule is that he only kills bad guys, And this guy, his uncle's been holding his daughter hostage. So then Huck finds him, runs into this guy, and he ends up helping him find his daughter, and then they defeat the uncle. So he's sent him to jail. So basically, this guy who's basically originally hired Huck and his mom he has this briefcase full of different art, like the things from different crime scenes. So they're gonna basically each thing object like I want each cover to have the object from the briefcase. This is where we're going to next this week, or this month. But it was decent, Could have been worse. It could be already Super Orlando in the book. All right, number 8 is Lazarus. I can't remember the last time there was a Lazarus book. I had to have been 2 or 3 years ago. This book started in 2011, 13.
So I guess they brought it back from the dead.
Well, that joke's been ongoing because I made that same joke about a couple of years ago when the book finally came out, because he took a hiatus since 2016 because of the GDS. Greg Rucka. But like I said, this is a Rise Part 1. I'm not sure how many issues this is going to be as a list. But it is the final story arc of this series with Forever Carlisle. Basically, if you don't know what the Lazarus are, in this world, it's an apocalyptic world where basically these 3 different families, the richest families in the world, basically took control of the world after a war, like a big giant world war, 3. And they own different parts. They're like the kings or emperors, and they each have their own Lazarus. A Lazarus is basically their bodyguard. This girl finds out that she's more than just the Lazarus. She's actually related to them, and she pretty much is basically she's been lied to and controlled, and she's tired of doing their bidding for this family who basically has immortality, and she basically she's done with that. She finds out she's going to be replaced by another clone version of her. She ends up with the help of the mother, who basically has wanted to die for all these years because she was originally part of it was those 2 guys and this girl who created the project all these years ago, Immortality Project. And the mother wants to end it and forever wants to get out of this and have her live her own rest of her life with her younger sister. And now the hunt is on for them because they've been missing for 600 days now, and every step of the way, she's been outsmarting them. And like I said, art has been pretty cool in here. Been liking it. That's the guy in the bottom left is one of the young. He was the guy in the middle, the one who, or on the left, actually, you can see here. He's one of the other ones. Basically, were originally led to believe that he was a villain, but turns out he actually was the good guy the whole entire time. It was the main guy who, Forever's father, who was the villain. And he's upset because he doesn't have his Lazarus project, and he's going to start aging soon. He's well over 100, 200 years old now. And his family is falling apart because all the lies he's exposed. He said it's a nice little drama, still kind of slow burn with some action. But like I said, you guys can make all your Lazarus jokes all you want. It doesn't change the fact that it's still an awesome book. No, he should have called it Ra's al Ghul's family. all in the ghouls. All right.
All in the galls.
Yep, like All in the Family, but it's all the ghouls. But and here's the other thing: there's no TDS in that book at all. Like this way over there. Next up is Hyde Street. Is my number 7 book of the week, and what's with this paper, man? This cover material. It feels cardboard.
I can't believe you have it that far down.
Well, I have a lot of books. I have about 10 books, bro. But, yeah. I mean, it starts off with we've been seeing this ad for it and all these little guys like Sears boxes. While this comes into play with Frankie. Frankie still being a kid at heart to start to being a little sadistic bastard. He wants revenge against Frankenstein, or the actor, the monster of the Hyde Street. So he decides to bring his little villains to life, but he also breaks into Mr. X-Ray Man's basically archives, or a little, and he steals the Wolfman mask. I think he's gonna wear it, in order to be, to defeat a monster, get to become a monster. But as Mr. X-Ray Man, pointed out, is like he does not read the fine print. But anyway, he comes across this guy in the woods here, and he's lost. He has no idea, and he's like, he's basically like annoyed by him. He's like, "Go away!" The guy's like, "You gotta help me! I've been lost for days." And he, ghouls out, scares the guy. The guy runs. He's setting up his traps. The guy ends up basically coming back, and he's like, "Oh shit! Can't catch a monster without bait." So he basically decides to lure the monster in by using the guy's bait. Frankenstein, like I said, Trump comes in here. There's a nice little gunfight battle. And then, of course, we get the scene here, 2-page spread of those.
Spread.
Yeah, right? Of those monsters, basically, from the cereal boxes. And now, gonna fight them. Like I said, the art here is just great. I believe this is Ivan Reyes. No. Yeah, Ivan Reyes. Man. And then, of course, Frankie puts on the mask, becomes a little werewolf. The only problem is that he's stuck being a werewolf, because once you put the mask on, you can't ever take it off.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, have you not read this book yet?
I have not read. Horror comics aren't really my thing.
Oh.
So, in an effort to save money, I haven't been picking it up.
So this monster, pretty much, the guy, he was stuck cursed to live on High Street, but he doesn't want to kill anybody. He doesn't want to, he's like, and Frankie is mad because the last issue that the monster basically stole his kill and saved the guy. Because some people that come to High Street can be redeemed. They're not as bad as they are. They have a choice to repent or to double down and all. And so he don't like the fact he got involved. Of course, and then you find out, Frankie realizes, hey, that guy is here. He's like, this guy was a predator. He killed children. And so he pleads with the Frankenstein. He's like, dude, he's like, I'm not going to lie and say I don't enjoy pulling people apart, but that's not the only. But it's not only that. I don't like people who hurt people, especially people who hurt kids. The ones who survive, they turn out like me. I never wanted to be a monster, Oscar, not more than you did. But I got no choice either. And you see the little puppy dog guys, which makes it funny because he actually has a dog.
That's fine.
Yeah. And so what he does, he goes after the guy, and the guy gets pulled apart by all his victims. But not just that though. The monsters that go after him too, and they really just tear. It ends with the cereal thing. So it's a good story, man. And these are the perfect stories to read during a Halloween. It just feels, like I said, like Hyde Street just feels like it's a Halloween book all year long. Yeah, it has the coupons. I love that. So awesome book. So it's my number 7 of the week. Number 6 is Void Rivals. Been liking what Kirkman's doing. We're finally getting to the point where we're probably going to get the monster that's been hidden in the black hole between their world. And so you got I forgot what her name is. Is it Sala or what her name is?
I think it's Sola.
Sola. Well, that's like she was showing the truth about this. The whole point was Zero Prime's who was a Autobot or whatever, she's a Cybertronian, was her point was when she built this is to trap the monster to weaken enough and basically bring him out of the stasis field and then kill it. That was her goal the whole entire time. And so Solo wants to do this, and she's trying to explain to them, like, this has to be, you need to do Unity. And of course, the main guy, he's pretty the father is really like, no, oh, you're blasphemous, kill her. And the son's like, I don't want to kill her. And he ends up having to basically fight her because of the fact that she tried to kill his dad. So now he's just torn with this. Meanwhile, we got the Skuxoids. They're pretty much going to be processed because they're unclean. They're not like the rest of the clones, I guess. Because whenever a Skuxoid gets ripped in half, it was basically a curse placed on the main one. He gets torn apart, another one like grows. It keeps going. So he has this whole giant Skuxoid army on his asteroid base. So I don't know what's going to go with them. We show them basically being kind of processed a little bit, and they're going to be separated. But yeah, I love this because this is basically tying into Transformers. We still have 2 Transformers that are on this planet with them too. I think Jetfire is one of them. Oh, they were a Jetfire arrive on Earth. I can't remember.
I think it's Jetfire.
More of the Junkoids. I love that. We got this kind of abandoned Cobra Law guy, and it said like, and he feels ashamed, because his armor is destroyed. Now my body's exposed. He's very overly religious, and so the Junks are like, well, no, we could build you a whole new armor, everything. So, of course, we get her basically, I guess, trying to explain more. She's got her helmet off that we need to do this. And they show the other guy of her planet, who originally was against Unity, has been shown the truth by the people that basically worship the Unity and Zero Prime followers. Now he's pretty at the end. He's been converted and shown has opened his eyes. Now he's going to basically fight for Unity. So I can't wait because it's probably going to happen in the next 4 issues. You're going to get that monster coming out of the black hole, which is basically their city is built. There are 2 halves, make a circle, and then the middle is like the black hole. So I'm looking forward to that a lot because that was just set by the Squid guys, by Squidward's family. They wanted to kill the Cybertronians. And so she basically led it to that, and then she trapped it. So, all right, on to the top 5. Yeah. Top 5 for this week. And, yeah. Mine are going to differ from everybody else's because I'm more of a kid at heart, probably more than Zach. Let's say that Zach doesn't have his charms. But number 5 for this week is Sonic versus DC Comics. Or basically the team up. They call it Sonic the Hedgehog versus DC or whatever, or at X DC. But basically, continuing off, we have if you're following the IDW Sonic stuff, there's a lot of Easter eggs in there for this book because Ivan Reis, the writer of Sonic from Archie and now in IDW. Darkseid wanted control of all the Chaos Emeralds because he wanted to take over the multiverse. So we end up basically getting the Justice League getting their asses kicked, but then they're also stuck on their own homeworld. So they decided to need to round up all the Chaos Emeralds. That was Cyborg's idea. So we got Blaze, who is she's from a different she's a princess from a different world of Sonic's, Sonic's universe. She has her own Chaos Emerald. She has, and we get Roseanne Barr and crazy Maxine Waters. Stampa and Mad Harriet versus her. Wonder Woman shows up and pretty much they even the battle. And at the end, Wonder Woman is proving her worthiness. Blaze gives her the Chaos Emerald. And yeah, and here's the thing about this. Whenever they're in the Sonic universe, the characters are drawn like they would be in Sonic universe. But when they're in the main universe, they're drawn like, normal DC characters. So I kind of like that. Metal Sonic versus Batman. Batman basically using he was chasing with his bike, grabs him, and he flies off his bike, holds on to him, knocks him down, and then and Metal Sonic forgets about the bike, and then he gets run over. And then Batman just takes the Chaos Emerald. But that does kind of clever. Then we get this. Basically, I guess we're getting a new event. Or showing what's going on. Legion of Darkseid coming soon. But we're getting all the classic, basically, Apocalypse villains. And I love the fact that they tell you who they are, as far as villains go, we got Baron Vermin. Everything starts with the V. And then we have the Deadly Six, who are basically from Hex World, which is above Sonic's World. Those are the IDW comic books. They're kind of like some cyborg villains. They can control cyborgs, other cyborgs. And then you get Flash, basically teaming up against them. Yeah, and just easily defeating them. Because Baron does a classic cartoon villains do, reveal their plan. Flash is like, really? Just told me your whole entire plan. Okay, and he defeats them. But then, here's the best part. While he's running, he's like, okay, Flash is just like, I'll be there. Like, holy shit, they got loop-de-loops. So, of course, Flash wants to do the loop-de-loops. If you've ever played Sonic the Hedgehog, they have those bridges that go loop-de-loop.
Okay, that's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta do this.
I'm actually a fan of that.
And then, of course, Eggman decides he's gonna leave. He's gonna basically betray them, even though he helped them against Darkseid. He's gonna go up, and the Superman's like, "Really? You're gonna leave? It's like, you think we didn't notice you're leaving here?" And then so he's like, "Well, I'm gonna defeat you with my robot stuff," And then Superman's like, "Really?" And like Eggman's like, "Please don't kill me." Pretty much, sons. And he's like, "No, just like stay back." He's like, and it's just like Superman's like, "Okay, enough of your games." He's like, just tell me where the other emerald is. He's got a Chaos Emerald that powers his ship, like in the comic books. And he's like, okay, where is he? He's like, he's in the engine room. He's like, so Superman just blasts right through the bottom. He drills himself through the ship. And I love it. He's like, at least just use the elevator. Don't wreck my battleship. Oh, I hate that Kryptonian. I love that. He's like, basically keeping with the line with him hitting Sonic. Now he hits Kryptonian. We get Granny Goodness, who's not really seeing that much goodness. I know, right? So she's going after the Wisps. Well, the Wisps are basically little creatures, elemental creatures that basically usually work with Whisper. You can learn more about Whisper from Tangled and Whisper and some of the IDW comics. And she's gonna try and harness her energy. Green Lantern says, "Bitch, no." I love John Stewart in this, and he ends up getting a power boost from the Wisp to help him out to take out Granny. Yeah, so there you go. He gets all the little elemental guy Wisp and taking out Granny. I love that. Of course, we get the Gotham City. The next page. And Green Lantern realizes he's running out of energy, so he taps into his ring taps into the Chaos Emerald, and is able to power himself up so he can get enough until he can get back to the ship and get his lantern. So they're all meeting together. They decide that in order to get home, they need to basically put out a beacon, and because the time is basically collapsing on itself. And so they decide to summon a beacon to try to get the Justice League Sonic team, who basically were trapped on the other Earth in the very first issue. So now they're all together on Sonic's world, and they're going to take the fight to Darkseid and try to save reality from collapsing on itself. Like I said, it's a very good kids book. And honestly, I cannot recommend this enough, especially for those who have children and don't want to give them any indoctrinated stuff that Marvel and DC have been putting out. I'm shocked because it's a DC book, but I think it's more because IDW, Ivan Reis is a good writer and is not into virtue signaling. He just wants to put a good story out. I'm more surprised that DC is it's like, how about we just put something on there and make it worse? But then again, maybe IDW cares about the Sonic IP, or the people who own Sonic said, "Fuck no," That's probably why Sonic hasn't been radicalized. You know, everything else at ADW seems to be like that lately. All right, number 4 is a book that I guess Wes didn't like. He didn't like Superman, number 27. And yeah,
where did he say that?
on Twitter.
Oh, I didn't.
He's tired of Josh Williams. He's tired of Josh Williams using these characters. He doesn't like these characters he brought back.
No.
And people said, like, what? Wait, you're upset that he is using characters instead of just creating them and banning them? Somebody replied back. And then the person's like, would you rather have Clown Hunter?
About to say he's upset that he's using Superman characters.
Yeah. Very cool story. Obviously, continuing off from the last issue where Lex had basically, before he broke out of prison, told Superman, how about you spend some time with your wife? She probably misses having her powers, and you could probably save your marriage. It's really nice. We get Jimmy Olsen, who's freakishly like drawn scary in this. Looks like Martin Short pretending to be a high school kid. She's happy to see him. It's been a while because he was injured back in, and he would give it. Here's an asterisk. Jimmy was injured in the battle with the Radiants in Superman number 23. What? They're actually telling you stuff in that? Apparently a Sibian or what's her name? Or a black Banshee?
Saban?
Banshee. Saban? Banshee's name? Yeah. Doesn't like Superwoman, but I don't know if she knows that Lois Lane is Superwoman. I don't know how anybody doesn't know because she wasn't wearing a mask. So that was the only thing I didn't like about that. But basically, Superman was his kryptonite rage was triggered last issue. Marilyn Monroe shows up and she's ready to kill him because she's protector of Metropolis. It turns out that actually was Lex's whole entire plan was basically to get her to cure Superman and be a distraction, also serve as a distraction. And this point would actually allow her to basically move on with life and no longer be cursed to be the, the Moonlight Girl, whatever it is, Moonlight Marilyn. Lex shows up at Supercorp, basically tells Mercy, he's like, hey, I understand what you did, but I have all my memories, but I'm not that person that was anymore. I'm going to leave Metropolis. I want you to come with me. Or if you decide to stay here, LexCorp is yours. I'm done with it. No. So we get the battle with Superman and Marilyn. But then, while they're getting ready to fight, we get this giant mech suit here, and that has Dr. Graff and his basically Howard Stern and his little silent partner, the guy from I think it's Teller. But they're gonna destroy Metropolis, and they're mad. And basically, how they're stopping is that Superman gets off. Well, in Super Hearing, he hears Lex Luthor. He says, hey, it's my parting gift to you, and everything I've done to you. Use the sign, the nanobites from the sign on LexCorp, basically to take out these guys here, and then you're not gonna see me anymore. So you get this cool little battle. He takes the Superman symbol and just throws it into their robot, destroys it, or robot. Sorry, for those who are sensitive to that. At the end, Superman goes to look for Mercy, and she's kind of like freaking out. He's like, are you in Red K? He's like, no, this is me. Just me normally pissed off. And she tells him that Lex offered me to go with him, but I turned him down, and he left. I don't know where he is. And basically, Clark shows up to talk to Lois at the end here. He talks about her and asks about how she's okay and everything. And as far as like she does miss having the powers, but she's okay. She loved her like before that and everything. And I love how Superman says, like, he's like, he says, come on, honey, is that about Superwoman, your powers? And she's like, and she says, I'm not going to say it. I didn't love it. I don't insist, but I'm okay not being Superwoman anymore. I've been Lois Lane my whole life, and I trust me when I say it. I like it. But honey, are you okay with not being me and Superwoman? I was worried about it. He says, I've loved you since the day I met you, and you didn't have any powers that day. But even if you want to fly again, I know a guy. And think that she might get powers down the line if they really want to do it, but they're not really gonna focus on it. And she talks about Lex, and he's like, and he said how he can't find him. He's like, and we see Lex on somewhere, some hidden like city. Don't know where he is. Almost looks like he's on an Elseworld, like he left, because he says I can't hear Lex anywhere. Meaning Lex isn't even on the world anymore. We also left with this Booster Gold with an alternate universe where the Legion of the Legion of Superheroes is basically working for Darkseid, and they have Time Trapper, and they think they're gonna basically bully Time Trapper. He says like, "Bitch, do you know who I was before Time Trapper? I was fucking Doomsday." So I guess next issue they're leaving their little pocket universe, and they're gonna go and confront Superman. So very fun book. Do you know what I liked more about this? Zach should know about this. Exactly what I mean.
What's that?
Fucking kids weren't in there. The little adopted kids, they're gone.
They haven't been in Superman since like day one, though.
I know, isn't that great? Yeah. All right, number 3 is Predator versus Spider-Man. So the cover they had left, but still cool cover. Basically, it's a throwback, I guess, where it takes place. And it's an Elseworld, but throwback, basically, where Spider-Man is dating Mary Jane because fuck the main Spider-Man title right now. I mean, Spider-Man sucks ass. He's working for Jameson. Jameson doesn't know that Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Another win. And they're at the Daily. What's it called? The Daily what? Oh, he's muted.
Daily Bugle.
Yeah, there you go. And he realized that something's going on. His spider sense is going off. So he basically says, Jameson, how about you go in the elevator and I'll be right down there? He's like, what? And then he's confronted by all of the other hunting party. They're looking for Skinner, who is basically the rogue Predator. It doesn't have a clan, and they're there to kill him. So Peter doesn't know that. He's already dealt with one of them, so he doesn't. He thinks that they're going to kill him. So he puts on his costume. I love this little changing stuff, and then we get classic Spider-Man. Pretty much just like the banter, him just webbing their faces, and just dodging them like too slow, There's even a part here where he takes off, like I think he takes off their mask. One of the masks, he's like, where is it? Well, he's like, here, let me take this helmet off for you. He's like, oh boy, are you ugly? Much. He's like, here, put the helmet back on. So they're having a little fight. Meanwhile, Mary Jane is trapped in the subway with Skinner, where he has a little trophy room, and they're trying to get out. Her and his other girl. This guy leaves in safety, and then he pushes them into a pile of rats. So they get buried in the rats, but what does the rats do? It keeps them from being spotted by the infrared scanner that he has in his helmet.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like what what's his name learned too.
But there's a big difference between mud and rats, though.
Well, yeah, anything that blocks your heat, So yeah.
I mean, mud has no heat, and rats just have a lot of little heat. So
yeah.
That's kind of cool.
So the dude gets killed by Skinner. The homeless dude does. So that's what's going on too. Craven decides to after the city. It's a blackout in New York City. They because it's the hottest day in July or whatever. So these guys finally get the generator back on at the Daily Bugle, and we see Craven. Saw these guys fixing the basic generator. He's like, "Fuck that! We're staying in the dark because then the Avengers won't show up. I want to be a 1-on-1 battle between me and the Predator." So he pretty much puts New York in harm's way. He also talks about how he's been tracking it. He said this prey has been he said over the last few days the crime scenes have been ranged from a nursing home in Harlem to a tiger at the Habitat at the zoo where he skinned it alive. Fucking tiger. He says like, and then the crocodile. It says like, as a grizzly haunts rivers or hunts during the salmon runs. And a crocodile sits below the surface of watering a hole frequented by the gazelle. But for Skinner, there is no such specificity to his taste, making him harder to anticipate. No one is safe, and it shows like a swing set, like a little thing there. Did he kill a child? Hope not. But yeah, Craven wants to basically this is his greatest hunt, even more than Spider-Man. He wants to basically go after this guy. But very, very fun book. Benjamin Percy has proven that he's probably one of the better writers, if not close to being toppling Hickman at Marvel. Yeah, Spider-Man pretty much, ends up going against the bad guys here, and then Jameson gets out, and then the ship basically explodes, or his office, the Daily Bugle office, is now in ruins. And Jameson is tackled by this cop from the beginning, who says, have you ever asked yourself, Mr. Jameson, why the trouble seems to follow Peter Parker wherever he goes? And then James is like, he's like, whatever, detective, whatever name, he's like, it's my fucking office that just got destroyed. And he's like, I said it before, I'll say it again. I'm surrounded by idiots, incompetents, and assassins. And he's like, what is that thing? And then we see this claws pop out, and it's the web cocoon. It's a predator. We don't know if Spider-Man survived, but obviously he probably did. So, yeah. Honestly, this has been a very fun book for Marvel. Dak, you should get the trade.
I might. Like I said, whenever I think it's inevitable, Marvel will do some kind of Punisher Marvel omnibus. And when that happens, I will probably pick it up.
You'll probably exclude this. It'll just have the other one with Black Panther and all the other ones.
There's at least 4 series. I feel like that's enough for an omnibus.
Yeah. This is not the final issue.
I thought it was the finale.
No, there's one more. There's a conclusion.
No, it isn't. That ended.
No, there's one more.
No, there isn't.
There isn't. There's one more.
No, there isn't. It said finale. Finito. It's over. It's a 6-parter. That was part 6.
Let's see. Justice League Unlimited number 8. It is the grand finale of the We Are Yesterday, a special crossover storyline.
Venkman, that was a preview for
That's a preview.
Oh. No. Nice.
You got my hopes up, man. I was like, there's another one? Yeah, because the next issue is...
It continues. Quantum Conundrum convenes.
No, that's the new storyline.
That's the next storyline, I think.
Yeah. It's part of the actual thing. It's at the end of the epilogue here.
It's a new story. The Grodd has been reduced to an ape. It's over. They won. Build that brand.
I'm not saying anything this time. Y'all have to go at it.
That's okay. Well, eventually we'll talk about some good books, and then you'll go, but I didn't get those.
Well, so far.
It's 6 or 7 issues.
Maybe the 7th is in the World
Justice
yeah.
Justice League Unlimited number 9 is the end of the series. It's the epilogue. It says we are yesterday epilogue for Justice Unlimited number 9.
But the main story is over.
That's what I mean. It's still part of the story. What do you call it?
Just review the fucking book already.
I would if people would interrupt me.
Well, look at it this way. The more we interrupt, the smarter you sound.
Good night, everybody. We're done. No, just kidding. All right. Honestly, this was a very fun book. I'm looking forward to the next part of it. Yes, and as Brina said, pretty much they defeat the monkey.
It shocked the monkey.
Pretty much. Monkey gets punched. Airwave basically needs the power of the watchtower and what's left of the systems, which was basically Tornado was holding together. He's corrupted. Use it in order to bring the actual Justice League back. So far, he can only reach across time and grab these basically like the B Team Cavalry from the other universe. We got Flash from Josh Williamson, the very first version of time back when Barry became the Flash. Just right, and he's going against the Turtle. I forget what issue that is, but it's one of the very early ones that Josh Williams run. We have Aquaman from a different universe, basically, at the time where he basically has a harpoon hand. We have Jonah Hex, which I always love seeing Jonah Hex in here. We got Batman Beyond. We got Batman from the New 52 era. A lot of cool art. Dan Mora, exceptional artists. So here's the heroes, bringing the rest of the heroes back. It is just one gigantic, climatic, basically, awesome battle. We have Harley Quinn, I guess, from
that'd be from the New 52 Suicide Squad.
Yeah. But
Well,
didn't she also?
No story's perfect.
Didn't she also dress like that in Rebirth?
No.
Injustice. Sorry, Injustice.
Maybe Rebirth. They gave her the red and blue hair. She had the red and black.
But I love the fact that Terry got from Future's End. He's like, clown, just punched him in the face. I said a lot of just crazy art. I don't need any dialogue. It's basically sequential, just ass kicking. Overall, I think it's gonna be a fun ride. Green Martian finally gets his powers back.
Hey, good for John.
All right, and that's what leads to the downfall of Grodd. But as Mr. Terrific's also disappointed because he says man, for a smart guy, I did not see any of this coming, and I failed.
Neither did I.
Alicia, this isn't even our publisher.
So the aftermath is that all these time to place heroes, they have no way of sending them home, which they'll probably send them home maybe in the epilogue, which is the next issue. Because time has basically been destroyed by all the tacticum particles and all from the dark side bullshit nonsense that Gorilla Grodd decided to do. And they can't send them down. They're stuck at a time. And I love it. I forgot who it says. Superman's like, Superman, I'm glad to help, but I need to get. We all do is a gunslinger projector is 2 minutes away from a complete nervous breakdown. Talking about Jonah Hex, and of course we get more of the Time Trapper, guy, which leads in the next story event. But it'll be continued in the next.
Teased in both Superman and Justice League.
Yep.
Dun dun dun. The best part of that book was?
What's that?
Mr. Terrific's ego.
Yeah.
Not being able to accept, reality and, because he didn't think of it, it couldn't possibly have happened.
Yep.
And believing that Airway's still alive. Now, he turns out to be right, but it's, I thought that was a nice touch.
Summer did not get to pick up the new history of the DC universe. Even though I like Jerry Oder's art, I previewed it online, and I just kind of feel like, why do I care about the new history?
Well, it went back to it was actually good.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
It was the comic book equivalent of a textbook.
It's more of a history book. There's not really a plot.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it just felt like they were just trying to put it loosely tied to put a textbook into a story.
Yeah,
kind of like Leah Bromero did with his covers on Batman covers. He tried to make a story out of it. It just really didn't work for me.
A dungeon crawler Kevin has a good idea.
Time Trapper Keeper.
I know, right?
That's funny.
If Jeremy Adams had created them, probably.
Time Trapper Keeper.
But
Tiny Baby Head.
My favorite book of the week.
Puppy Monkey Baby.
Tiny Baby Hands. My baby shoes.
I really like this. We get to see Carol and Hal actually getting along. Her actually realizing all the time she was mad at him, she was wrong, because trying to be a hero is hard. It's hard work, and also and then the fact that even Hal says like, well, now you kind of know how I felt. I was trying to also be in a relationship too at the same time. It's almost impossible. But they kind of realize, it's like, now that she understands already, she basically forgives him. And I love what she says. Like, he's like, because he had mentioned earlier about like how she's using more constructs than he did when he first started out. He was only using like, he barely get 2, and she's using like a 5, and she keeps using that car one over and over to smash guys with cars. And he's like, he's like, how about we drop these guys off at Coast City Prison and we're gonna grab a bite in Shanghai? And she's like, sure, that sounds fun. So then he pushes it. He says like, maybe we could talk about about what other things I'm right about. And she's like, so you're saying you want a construct smashed on you? Okay, let's talk about it. He's like, all right, dropping subject. So I love that's going on. But the other great thing about this story is we also have another story that's actually fun. Because before when this series started, Jeremy started the series, we're getting those horrible backup stories. I'm sorry, I like Jon Stewart, but those were atrocious, and not the good one.
Atrocitus.
Same thing. Tomato, bro. So anyway, we got Silver Scarab, we got Connor Kent, we got Odyssey, who should have been Cassie. Fuck you, DC. and Kyle go to this outpost here. They're like, all right, it's omnibus. Let's go in there. It's not creepy. It's telling us where to go. Well, we'll follow it. We'll be fine. What could go wrong? And then meanwhile, we got Carol basically talks Hal into and they're dropping the people off at the prison. They're unusually happy, and Batman says, when things seem too good to be true, you should always check it out. And he's like, and Hal's like, freaking Batman. So they check it out, and they find another creature that basically has the same powers as her. And he's basically been putting out this love, so that's why everybody's all happy and no one fights and stuff. So now she's got a little pet squirrel, I guess.
It's an axolotl.
Yeah, it's what?
An axolotl. It's kind of like a salamander.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Meanwhile, all the rage for a while. I don't know. They still might be. I don't know.
Meanwhile, the kids come across this energy thing dome and like, oh, maybe we should just smash it open. Maybe we shouldn't, because it's probably there for a reason. It's an energy source. And here comes the freaking manhunters. No man escapes the manhunters. Well, I think the Odyssey will be fine then. Yeah. So we got these two stories going on. They end up, Hal and Carol end up getting a little attacked by these creatures till she realizes it's basically their the emotional spectrum being out of control. And then finally, when everybody comes to senses, it said Hal's like, you should probably lock up that scientist guy. He literally told us that he was happy experimenting on people. So while they're fighting the manhunters, it's gonna like, if you're watching a movie, this would probably give me a whiplash back and forth between these. That's the only downside to these kind of stories. They break open the energy stasis thing, and here's the greatest part of this. I geeked out when I revealed who actually is in there, because I did not think they'd ever do that. For those who watched the 2011 animated Green Lantern series, she's there. Aya is now part of the DC comic universe. So this book might shoot up in value for speculators, I guess. But
well, if they ever bring it back for a third season.
Yeah.
Or second season. I think you only had one.
I'll just say though, like I said, remember Jeremy Adams created her.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
So he brought one of his own characters from the anime series as that's still a fan favorite by a lot of people. I personally didn't care for it as much because I did not like this the Incredibles like kind of CG look. You know, I prefer the classic cartoon. But other books I did pick up was a facsimile was issue 3 of Jeff Loeb and Tim Sales, Batman Little Limits One Shots, Legend of the Dark Knight. This is Ghosts. Did not get a chance to read it. Looking forward to reading it. That was I think it's like a $7 facsimile. Yeah. And then I have a few back issues. I can wait or I can do them now. What do you guys want to do? Yes, no?
Dealer's choice.
Everybody's muted.
Everybody else must be eating or something. I don't know.
Or they forgot how they
when I was on mute.
Technology, I can't unmute.
Go ahead.
Whatever you want to do.
All right. Well, I only have a couple. All right. So, speaking of Jonah Hex, got me some weird Western tales. All right. Yeah. Last one of that one. So, love me some early Jonah Hex. And then we get into get some Action Comics. So, then I found some more that I liked.
Oh, that's a cool cover.
Yeah, anytime Superman teaming up with anybody else on his books, that's always kind of fun.
Which one is that?
Zach, what would you expect with the great one doing the art?
I know, right?
No, not him.
Yes.
Is Gil Kane. Actually, yeah, that's his. Yeah, right there.
What issue was that?
This is 546, I believe.
546. Oh, okay.
And even better news, Zach, he does the interiors.
I know. And
you, Gil Kane.
final back issue of the night for me is Action Comics 555. So, of course, you'd say, you don't like anything that's cool, bro.
There's no Teen Titans on there.
You know what?
18, but
You know what, though? Because I don't need that. I got headband Supergirl and a short
I don't
skirt.
get the fascination with the headband, personally.
You don't get a fascination with a lot of things, apparently. I noticed that lately. You're a
Sure.
man of four tastes.
You probably don't even get the fascination with girls.
Well, he's dating one.
I'm dating one, so I think I do.
It's for convenience, so.
Yeah, that's it. It's a relationship of convenience.
It is,
I get steak once a week, and I don't know what she gets, but
we don't know either.
she gets a jujitsu test dummy. That's what.
So
she
he
gets.
has two beards actually.
All right. Geekeasy will throw you at next so you can get out of here and
Yeah, I'm sorry. I hear about your leg, man.
while in pain. The old man is falling apart every time we meet him. He is Geekeasy. A man apart.
Yeah, I didn't know that it happened either. They're like, how do you do it? Did you bump into something? I was like, no. So
Dang.
I mean, like, if I hurt myself when I'm drunk, that can get an excuse, but like, how do you hurt yourself when you're sober?
well, yeah, I didn't bump into anything hard enough to, and so I can't take anything to do it and deal with it. My normal pain relief thing. No, I've been really close to calling Johnny and his two brothers, and I can't do that. Can't hang out with my old granddad. Don't do the old other stuff. So, and
Well,
they said
you don't want to go to Moss and hang out with Samuel Adams either.
and I said, is there a boot or anything like that you could put in? They said it's just high enough that the top of it would be right where it's at. So all I'll be doing is pressing up against it. So that won't work. So I have about like 6 weeks of having to just stop. The basic, they didn't say this, but the basic message was don't be able to bitch and just suck it up, sunshine.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, you're at the VA. I don't expect them to treat you.
Well,
Here's a lollipop.
this was an outside.
Okay. I was
I
like,
have a
That's
network.
Sunday, and I just got to go see him today. The place
I was
today.
gonna say, if you're at the VA, I'm like, here's the lollipop sunshine.
Yeah, and basically they said you can walk. First they said keep your weight off it, and I'm like, dude, it's my leg. Now they said you can walk on it. It was just they gave me a prescription that I told them to do it by the store by my house, but they sent it to the VA, and this was at 4:45 my time. VA thing closes at 5, so I won't be able to pick it up until tomorrow morning. And so yeah, I'm fine. But anyway,
True story. You know, if you know, and you know, I know. Our pal Eric will deny this, but Gil Kane is the son of Bob Kane.
I don't think that's true.
Bob Kane, who basically did the same thing to Bill Finger that Stan Lee did to Kirby and
No, he didn't. Stanley didn't do Kirby.
he pulled a cane. Not as bad, but he still
Kirby was an ordinary ordinary guy, old guy.
So anyway, I have 11, one of which I did not read. So number 11 is the one that I did not read. Sleep. And basically that was there's a guy who finds out that murders in this town are being committed while he's asleep. What was that art you said? Is it Tinder art, Breen? Is that what you...
Tumblr.
Tumblr art.
Tinder art.
Tinder art
That's why-
would
that's
be
why-
very different.
That's why I'm sitting there going, that's not right. That's not right. I know that's not what he said, but I knew it was something.
Check out. Go to your favorite. Go check out Grinder art.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
But then the first one had that. This one, the art from the last issue is a step up. For this one, I mean, I couldn't do it. I'm just looking at it going, what the actual this is just horrible. So I was like, no.
Yeah, that's not great.
And so I was like, the first 2 pages, I was like, no, I'm not even gonna bother. And this is definitely gonna be the last issue because the first issue I didn't even like that. It was okay. I just wanted to see what was going on. Didn't bother checking the art because I knew it was gonna be super great, but it went downhill on this one. So
Don't feel bad. People were online or in Mark Millar's chat saying, "Oh, we love the art on Vatican City." I'm like, what?
okay, then number 10. And speaking of exceptional art, Incredible Hulk number 26, Legacy number 807.
Ooh, I was curious about that one.
Now, take a look at this cover right here. Who is that supposed to be on the cover?
That's got to be Bucky, huh?
Supposed to be.
That's a janitor. Ain't it,
Supposed
Bucky?
to be. Is that not Bucky?
It's supposed to be Bucky.
Oh, okay.
Is that cover A?
Cover A, yes, I guess.
Wow.
This is the girl finally gets control of the monster and stuff like that. So they're just going through the woods and all that stuff. Bucky comes, he wants to talk to Banner, but Banner isn't there because some gamma powered beings have disappeared, including Doc Samson, and he needs help. And the girl goes into like Banner World or whatever that was, Gamma World or whatever that was, and so they're. But it's just the art sucks. Okay, so that'd be 11, 10, 9. Probably went over this one. 8. This was a blind buy Mad Cave Comics. Don't forget your briefcase. Does everyone here know what the nuclear football is?
Yes, vaguely.
Okay,
Let's go at it.
the president always has somebody nearby. The person travels with him,
Launch
carrying
codes, yeah.
what is referred to as the nuclear football. It is a suitcase with the launch codes and targets and all this stuff.
2 keys, yeah.
Now, they're always close by the president, just in case shit happens. So this book, it deals with, open it up. It deals with two people. First off, it starts out with, a supposed attack on this, and you have this is Jimmy Carter right there. I thought it was weird. Look at the page, the flag in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But a bunch of different presidents in the
Joe
past.
Biden.
Huh?
Looks like Joe Biden.
Yeah, they have all the bunch of different presidents from the past giving a little talk on what the nuclear football is. All the way up to Trump, and they actually don't even make him look bad. Up to the black guy right there, who is the new president, and they're talking to a Marine, like lieutenant colonel or colonel. She is the new
That's a
person.
femboy.
Carl Danvers?
It's more like a femboy there.
Looks like Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers.
Carl Danvers. You're right. First time.
It is Colonel Honken, Honken. She is the new person carrying the nuclear football, and so you're dealing with her. And then it goes to a woman who's got her little son, or the husband died. This is her. She's got a little son right there who starts carrying a suitcase to work all the kids. Pick on him for it, and he finally loses it, beats the shit out of his attackers, and they're gonna expel him from school. And she's trying to explain it and all that, but so she takes him home. She's got a really weird relationship with him because see how old he is, but she sleeps in the same. He still lets her sleep with her at night when he's scared.
Close.
Yeah, a little weird. But the colonel has issues and all that stuff. And since the kid has got expelled or suspended from school, she takes him into work. President's coming down the hall to meet all these. She works in the communications department at the White House, and you have a guy who's helping move some final stuff in. And oops, he assassinates the president, or tries to assassinate the president. The colonel takes him, and then I'm just wondering what the relationship with this kid is. Seems a little weird. And she gets into her toilet, says that, and she's speaking in Russian, saying, "Hey, whoops! I think I accidentally started World War III." So seems like she's a Russian plant. Pretty good. I definitely will be picking it up. The next one, the art, not bad. Okay, so that was 11, 10, 9, 8. Minor Arcana. The girl is taking over her mom's shop. They're reopening. She's come to terms with, her mom. She's opening the new shop. Her mom is hanging out with the guy who she met last issue. They're starting to get close, and she's trying to mend relationships with people. And some little goth girl comes to the shop for the grand opening and wants to be taught how to do this stuff. And there is some people who are watching her because she's probably as powerful or more powerful than her grandfather, which they don't. There's some stuff about the grandfather in the back issues. So she's being watched by a mysterious organization. Not bad. Okay, then next is Dark Honor, number 2. Still the really great art. She's talking with her family. They left off with some guy trying to aiming at the family. She saves them and goes after the guy, and you see her. She's having to go get a little bit of history on her. She has to go do some shit job for her parole and stay away from gambling, but she is that's why she went to prison, some sort of gambling thing, and she goes to a gambling thing and meets up with this chick, and they play, and she loses, and the bad guy is trying to sort of take over, and so they got a whole story going with the family. You know, the bad guy trying to take over the organizations, her trying to stop it, and dealing with being out of prison and stuff like that, and the hot chick bad guy. So pretty good, and the art is great. So I like this a little bit better than you did because it's a little higher up. So number 4, Green Lantern. 3 is Black Ritual, the Book of Nyx, number 3.
You really do get all the books we don't get.
I told you.
Well, someone's got to.
Someone's got. You're right. You're right.
Well, it wouldn't be Jeff if he picked up books and says, "Why the hell did I get this?"
No, I haven't said that this week yet, though.
Well, that's good. That's good.
There have been a couple times, and I know that's kind of, you guys sit there and rub it in every time I do it, deservedly, but I haven't said it this week.
I don't rub anything. I twist a knife.
Yes.
That's true. He does.
And she is basically still investigating the disappearance of the witches in the Covenant town and trying to deal with the people who don't trust her. And you know, the same good art they have in this universe. Pretty good stuff. And then, ow. What am I doing? That was the back. I wondered why the pages were the wrong way. Number 2, and I don't know if anyone get this?
Yep.
My shop didn't have it. That's why it wasn't on my list.
Okay, so
it would have been my number 2.
Basically, you have Peter and everybody being taken off to wherever to be protected because of what happened. And so it's Peter, Mary Jane, the daughter, the son, Uncle Ben, and Jameson are all there. And the guy, what's the guy's name?
Jameson and Ben.
No, Green Goblin.
Harry Osborn.
Harry Osborn. They're all the wife isn't there, and he asks her, "Where's Gwen?"
Because Gwen's with the rest of the league.
Yeah, but she's back there, and she's having a little argument with everybody over there.
Mainly Robbie's and what's his name? Quentin have their panties in a twist because she acted. You know, it did something.
She acted on her own without their consent and stuff.
Yeah. But who's the girl that supports her? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. That was a new-looking character.
I was wondering that myself.
I thought maybe that was that Nico girl, whatever it was.
I thought it was Victoria Hand at first, but I could be wrong.
I'm going to guess it's this universe's Madam Web.
Oh, that's a good guess too.
But then, so Ben and Peter and Harry go back to the city to try and take care of stuff. They have to kill. They're going to meet somebody. They kill some time, fight some people, and turns out that Doc Ock, he's not quite Doc Ock yet, is hanging out in Peter's apartment. He's living there.
He's wearing his slippers, man.
Pissed. And
you don't do that.
No. And that's why he's like, "You want him back?" He's like, "No, we keep him."
Another man's footwear.
But turns out that young Ben slipped on to the plane because he needed to go back to New York because he's talking to Black Cat.
Richard.
Huh?
Richard went.
Yeah, his son's name is Richard.
I thought it was Ben. Oh, okay.
No, Ben's it's out.
Okay. But yeah, he went back and he wanted to. His Black Cat was talking to him, brings him back.
His girlfriend.
And she said she needed help. But she's drawing him there because Wilson Fisk wanted to meet him. He's like, "I thought you loved me. How could you do this?" And he says, "Oh, I love you, but it's just it's in my nature." So he's stuck with Wilson Fisk, who doesn't know that he is Spider-Man's son. He just knows that he hangs out with Spider-Man. And so he wants to, gonna hope to get information from him. And then number 1, Hyde Street. Loved it. And that is it.
What's it?
It is a movie based off a book by Stephen King.
You guys are both lame. Faith No More. What's it? That is it.
That's their only.
You want it all, but you can't have it.
Exactly.
If you'd said, "What is it?" instead of "What's it?"
we
might have gotten it.
Yes, exactly.
If you knew what I was talking about, you still didn't do it. So this means that.
But no, we didn't know what you were talking about because you didn't do it right. If you'd done it right, we didn't know what you were doing.
Hey, listen to your father.
I had to do everything. This is what I have to deal with. He wants me to be perfect for him.
As any father would. As any father would.
Times like these, I'm glad to not be the favorite son.
He wants
I don't have much expected of me. I can only go up. I can never come down.
I don't give a fuck, but he wants the best for his son.
If you're trying to get us to go along with something, you have to give us something to go along with.
All right, you want something to go along with? There you go. Go along with that.
Wow, those look like 2 little chubby pixel starter kits.
We would like to apologize to all families in the audience tonight.
Zach.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to go last?
I don't care. Do you want me to go ahead and go?
You do whatever you want.
Well, you're there now, so you might as well go.
Oh, am I up? Oh, hold on. Shoot.
Yeah, that's why your avatar's taking up 90% of the screen.
I gotta pause my.
Oh, he's just sassy.
Sorry about that.
Well, I didn't want you to think it was just you.
Playing Pokemon over here. I mean, paying attention.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that you're devoting your full attention to things.
Why are you playing Pokemon?
Because it's fun.
And I would.
It's because Zach woke up in 2019 today.
You sure you didn't wake up in 2009?
And I would like to Pokemon. And she's
that would be fun. Going back to 2009, man. All right.
Yeah, a year after Iron Man came out, the MCU was actually good.
There were only 2 movies.
I know, it was good.
All right.
In those days, Marvel movies were like genders. There were only 2.
There were only 2 of them. All right. Coming in at the bottom of the stack, I think there's 10 books here. Maybe 9. I don't know. We'll count. We'll find out together. All right. We've got Void Rivals, number 20. This was a good issue. Some good fight scenes. Some good development. I don't know. I feel like Robert Kirkman is going to pull the plug and wrap this up and end it once they fight, free, kill the giant Golian. I feel like that might be the end of the story. I don't know. Maybe he'll keep it going.
He's doing 2 new books. I wouldn't be surprised. He's also
Yeah, I mean, he's writing. Yeah, he's writing. I thought he was writing 3. Is it 2?
He's got Transformers. He's got that a new one. It's the Warrior guys with the stick or whatever. What is
yeah, that guy. Is he doing the Ghost Pepper one too? I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that would be 3. Yeah.
Unless it's the same book and we're thinking about it.
3.
Yeah.
The people that say 3 like this.
But, it's been a while since he's actually written a lot.
It has been. Is he writing Battle Beast?
Battle Beast? I don't know what that is. Oh no! Yeah, he is right. Yeah, yeah, that one. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But that's limited though. I don't think it's gonna be.
I was gonna say, what is Battle Beast? I know I'm not the only one that saw that.
You know why? Because my mind went to Battle Chasers. I'm still pissed off that guy's talking about coming out and doing another book. That's not Battle Chasers.
All right, we got Huck, Big Bad World #2. I like this.
I like it.
I wrote in a little Twitter review earlier. Huck is basically what you get when you combine Jack Reacher with Monkey D. Luffy's attitude and his ability to be friends with anyone. Yeah, I combined the two and it works. The guy, the sniper on the cover, he's kind of basically just Invisible Woman. But the story overall, it works. I gotta say though, I'm not too impressed with Raphael Albuquerque on this one. It doesn't feel like his best work. So hopefully the art for issue 3 picks up, but I wasn't too impressed with this.
Have you ever read American Vampire?
No.
It's exact same peak art.
And it wasn't peak. This one was not peak.
Oh, it is peak, bro.
No, you know what peak is? This cover. This cover is peak.
Well,
in fact, I'm only giving you. This is Chris Samney. and then we get the back end. I gotta show the back too.
Peak
Look
is
at that.
one side.
Vigilante, the good Vigilante. You got Amazing Man made the cover. So yeah, this is. I gotta do this. Get the full effect. I want this poster.
That's amazing, man.
So you gotta go inside and look at the awesome Jerry Ordway art. That's part of
I'll show you. Well, first of all, it starts off with Todd Knock.
That's a dog.
Milkbone is really milking this marketing opportunity. Yeah, so like we were saying, there's not really a storyline to this. Kind of like there's no storyline in the Marvel A to Z books. It really is just it's reading a history book. It starts off with the creation of the universe, and it kind of just there's the hierarchy. Like, okay, these are the big G gods. These are the little G gods. And it just kind of goes down the line. Some moments that I thought were pretty cool. You get to hear where they bring up Arion, which I didn't know anybody at DC remembered Arion. I barely remember him most days. Then of course you get to like some ancient time stuff, Eclipso and Vandal Savage and the Mascara. And it goes back and forth. So this is a Todd Knock pair of pages. I think the next page, this is a Jerry Ordway page over here, I think. Dealing with like Shazam and the Wizards, and Nubia gets a little paragraph. But then it jumps back to Todd Knock. King Arthur, the Starheart lands on Earth, all that. Does some there's some more Todd Knock. Todd Knock, I feel like he probably got the lion's share of the pages in this one. Actually, no, I think there's a little combination because that looks like Jerry Ordway doing Metron there. So maybe I don't know how they
Jerry Ordway's supposed to be the only interior artist, as far as I know.
No, it's both of them. Jerry Ordway and Todd Knock. They split the share.
You know what Todd Knock looks like? He draws women looking very good.
Well, so here's more Todd Knock. This is early American stuff.
That's Todd Knock on the left.
Well, that's him on both pages.
Actually, you're right. Yeah,
that's him on both. Ordway. Here's some Ordway for you. Here we go. World War II. You got Enemy Ace. Congo Bill. What is that? Dream from Sandman. Then you get into some early Golden Age stuff. Starman, Black Hawk Squadron, Sandman up there. Blue Beetle, the first Blue Beetle, Dan Garrett. So, yeah. And then now my one thing is they just show the JSA. They don't show the origin of like Jay or Alan or Rex. They just kind of put them there, and there they are shaking hands with FDR. But this is all about, the JSA forming. And, this one is probably my favorite couple of pages because you have the young, the sidekicks, Stargirl and the Lost Children. So, of course, Todd Knott got that page. But then he also gets the original Creature Commandos in there, which I'm very happy about. The OGs, the real Creature Commandos. This is probably my favorite 2 pages of the whole book, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, then, okay, so here's one. Here's Todd Knott on the left with the Freedom Fighters. And then Jerry Ordway over here on the right. He's got some All-Star Squadron up here. The young All-Star Squadron at the bottom. And so, yeah, it reads pretty much just like a history book. It just kind of goes in, it touches, okay, here's Unknown Soldier. Here's Sergeant Rock and Easy Company. Here's the Haunted Tank. Surprised that they would. Now, they don't say it's haunted by a Confederate soldier. They just say haunted by they use a Civil War ancestor. But, that's still not too far off. The Losers get a shout out in here. The Boy Commandos.
Even the Losers?
The Losers. The original Suicide Squad.
You're lucky sometimes.
Yeah.
Dinosaur Island.
See what happens when you lead correctly?
Old man, I used to have so much respect for you. You're just an ordinary old man. What did a lump do to you tonight?
So the final page, and some comic news sites out here found controversy with this for some reason, but it ends with Krypton exploding and the escape pod being launched with Baby Kal-El inside. And some people took umbrage with the fact that there were superheroes on Earth before Superman, which is the way it has been for decades. Rhaegar, this is the new history of the DC Universe. This is issue number 1, first of 4. And so this pretty much is just going all through the golden age of DC, just kind of relining, making sure that everybody's aware of the cohesive structure of time that they have mapped out here. And so, yeah, if you're, by the way, there you go, artists, Todd Knott and Jerry Ordway. So, Mark Waid wrote it. Like I said, there's not really a story. It's just a history, and it's good. The art's good. There is also, even if you go into the back, they do have like a timeline where it shows you like the issues and the years where characters popped up. I thought that was pretty cool. If you like to have references for stuff like that. So, like, for example, Justice Society, and here they'll show you like, okay, Green Lantern, gets the Star Heart and assumes alias of Green Lantern, All-Star Comics number 16. So, that's pretty neat. So if you like to have your references and know what kind of issues stuff first appears in or people first appear in, that's a good little thing to have. But yeah, it was all right. Like I said, not huge on story, but it's not supposed to be big on story. So that's my number. What was that? I don't even know what number. That's the second book I showed. All right. We got one of the many hot takes that I have here is Uncanny X-Men, number 16. This wraps up the current storyline where this demigod who kind of runs this hell for mutant haters, like regular people, but they hate mutants and they turned on mutants or turned them into the authorities. So this demigod keeps them trapped in hell, and she's trying to keep one of the 4 students there is like the new gatekeeper or prison keeper. And so the regular X-Men, the ones that we know and love, like Wolverine and Gambit and Rogue and all of them, they show up and they say, oh, no, you can't do that. And so they start fighting all these constructs and mutant haters. And Man-Thing is there also, by the way. So Man-Thing's right there. David Marquez is back on the art, so that's really cool. Again, you've got the dialogue, between a lot of these characters. It's very well written. I'm trying to find Wolverine and one of the students, Ransom. He's like the tough guy. They kind of, they're partnered up or they will be, at least in the next few issues. I think they start talking about that here. I like Wolverine and Gambit when they find out they have to fight a god. Gambit says, "Mon ami, this isn't some wannabe dictator, and it's not some giant robot. This is a god." And Wolverine's like, "Well, okay, I guess we're fighting a darn god then. Let's go."
He said darn.
No, he didn't say darn, but unlike y'all, I like to keep my language PG. But yeah, you get some really cool artwork here. Where's that page? I'm trying to find it. So they defeat this demigod. So the girl who has a horse, at first they said the horse was a mutant, and that didn't make sense, and they ended up doing away with that. So I think the girl, what she does is she brought the horse to life. And for some reason that scared the demigod. And so that gets Jubilee's brain thinking if she's afraid of something, the man thing can kill it or burn it. So they end up Rogue pretty much just like throws the man thing into the giant demigod. And that's how they win. It's pretty cool. Rhaegar, I don't know if I would say that it's peak, but it is fun though. I am enjoying it. This has been enjoyable so far. It's been 16 issues in. It hasn't lost me yet. Jed McKay's X-Men lost me in like 2 issues. So this has been good though. Then we have Rockefellers, and I don't want to spoil this because this was, like Green said, this was the best issue so far. This is issue number 6. I think RDV, once you read it, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with it. This is a good blending of plot. There's also some fun humor and stuff in it. It's a very good issue.
Let me read it while you talk.
Huh?
So let me read it while you guys talk.
Yeah, go ahead. We kind of already talked about this one, but Justice League Unlimited, number 8. This is my favorite issue of the series so far. I mean, just seeing all these different characters on the pages. I mean, you've got the characters from like the past, like Jonah Hex. They showed. I mean, you also got Boy Thunder and the World's Finest Teen Titans are in here. You've got the Terrifics. That was fun to see. And just a bunch of cool stuff in here. I just love what they did with Gorilla Grodd. I think this opening page right here where he's calling himself Gorilla God and he's got the Omega symbol. I think that's probably one of the coolest things they've done with the character in a long time. And just this huge splash page. I mean, this is just fun. All the colors and the action and the different pairings of who's fighting who. It's just great. There's a neat line in here where they know, they're talking about all the time displaced people, and Aquaman is talking about how much of a murderer Black Manta is. I assume this is coming from the story from the point in the past where Black Manta killed his baby, or close to it. So, yeah, just a lot of fun, a lot of different action scenes in here. I'm pretty sure that Jason Todd is because there's 2 Robins in here. There's the regular Robin. I'm pretty sure Jason Todd is in here too. I can't quite find the page, but yeah, that's it. I'm pretty sure that's him with Ted and Jonah Hex and them. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, great issue. It's well worth checking out. I mean, the Dan Mora doing these giant panels full of characters is just great. And then I like where it's going to be. I think I like where it's going in the future, like the ramifications and stuff they're going to be doing. All right, we're in the top. That was my number 5. Okay, I didn't have as many books as I thought I did. I had 9 books. Okay. Then we have, Rip Aqua Jr. We knew him well. Did we? It's been a while since we did that reading with Aqua Baby. But yeah,
2 years.
Has it been 2 years? Yeah,
at least.
Yeah.
It wasn't on his channel at all. It was on.
No, it was on Ease, wasn't it?
On Ease channel.
It was on Ease channel. You're right. That's where the readings began. Know your lore, Rhaegar.
Well, actually, they began over on Lullabies.
Ultimate Spider-Man number 18. Chichetto is back. Peter Parker is back in New York City, where he belongs. He has Harry come pick him up in a jet. Jonah and Ben, they pretty much trade places with Peter because they're going to take care of Mary Jane and the kids. even though Richard sneaks onto the airplane. So really, they're just taking care of the little girl. There's this really fun panel, and I like it. It shows Spidey and Harry just beating up these like little lesser villains. Like there's the Shocker again up in the left. I think that's Hammerhead. I'm pretty sure that's either Vermin or Jackal. I want to say Vermin. Just
It's
a really
Vermin.
cool panel. It's Vermin? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just cool stuff. The art is just fun. The detail and everything is really nice. Richard here, I'm kind of glad, even though Richard's a little punk and he's like disobeying and he's like this little rebellious son, I'm kind of glad they're doing this with him because I remember when the series first started, they didn't really have him do anything. Like Little Mayday was like the star of the show as far as the kids went. So I'm glad to see Hickman is getting Richard in the game, getting him in the mix. And I said Hickman just needs a little while to cook, but once he gets roaring, like it's going to be good. And we're seeing the payoff of that. It's starting to get really good. All right. In the top 3, we've got Superman, number 27. Fantastic. Joshua Williamson is cooking. He's doing great. I'm really excited to see. So, and Vinkman kind of went over a lot of this. Marilyn Moonlight shows up. She, cures Superman because Lex gave her the power, the abilities to cure Superman with his red kryptonite rage. Something that I thought was really cool. It's so Lex is kind of a wild card right now because at first he was kind of twisted, but he was trying to turn good, but you still didn't know if you could trust him or not. And then he had the amnesia, and he was only trying to be good, and now the amnesia's gone, and so it's really weird. And what I credit Williamson for, and it's in this page somewhere. I think it's in this one. No, it's not. What I credit Williamson for is he just takes Luthor off the board. He's like, we're going to take a little break from Luthor. So Luthor goes off. Once he escapes, he goes off to like this snowy village somewhere at the start of Batman Begins. And when Superman says he can't hear him, it's because he's using sign language. He's signing to this guy, which I thought was genius. And that's a very clever Lex thing to do. So I like that. I like that they're taking him off the board for a little bit because I don't want them to just like rush back to him being old evil Lex if that's what ends up happening. It'd be really sad if that ends up happening anyway. But I was like, okay, there's lots of other Superman villains that he can use. So I'm glad that he's doing that and that he's kind of giving Lex a breather. I like the stuff with Tex Mercy, Mercy Graves. Tess Mercer was from Smallville. I like what he's doing with Mercy. She's now running Supercore or LexCorp, whatever it's called. And then at the end, of course, what's going to tie into the next issue is Booster Gold in the future with the Dark Side Legion of Superheroes. And they call Booster Gold like one of the most serious superheroes because of his time traveling shtick. So that's something that they've been teasing since like the Absolute Universe started. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with that. But yeah, this has just been fantastic. There's that robot fight. Minkman already kind of showed that off, the giant mech fight. This has been great though. Y'all should be picking up Superman. It is phenomenal. Dan Mora was not doing the art for this one. Sean Isaac did some of it. He was on Green Arrow when Williamson started writing Green Arrow. So he did some of the art. Somebody Barrows.
Eddie Barrows. He
Barrows,
was Teen Titans artist about 15 years ago.
Yeah. So you still got some good art. Even if it's not Dan Mora, you still got some really good art. Second runner-up, silver medal, goes to Green Lantern number 24. I love the cover. I love the live fast and leave a pretty corpse. That's just I don't know, man. That just hits me. That's just funny. I love it. So yeah, you got the Hal and Carol buddy copping. That's great. You've got Kyle and his little space pirate crew off in space. Not really pirates, but that's beside the point. They kind of address how Kyle is still a White Lantern, even though he hasn't used his White Lantern powers in a bit. this prison scene, it was interesting. I was like, what is going on? Like, it's one of those like eerie, creepy, like everybody's too perfect. It's too well done. And then, like Big Man was saying, they find out why. There's this mad scientist guy down in the basement who's been dissecting bodies, and he's got this little axolotl lizard thing.
Axel Alonso?
Axel Alonso, that's it.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, this little lizard, and you come to find out, so this guy here, he's creepy. He just likes to cut up bodies and stuff, and he likes to vivisect people. And you find out that's what he was going to do to the poor little lizard. But then what happened is the lizard starts glowing.
Growing.
And he starts harnessing the emotion of happiness, which is not one of the regular emotion cores that they have. It's kind of one of the weird offshoots, kind of like how there's the sorrow lantern now. Happy is kind of like one of the other just weird ones that are out there. So yeah, Hal and Carol, they say, well, we gotta take this guy back with us, and they get greedy and they're like, no, he's gotta stay with us. So they all quickly turn orange. They quickly turn to the orange lanterns because the greed and the avarice is orange. So they start fighting the prisoners and the guards and everything. Yeah, and then there's some cool fight scenes in there with that. You get Kyle here with a Green Lantern gun shooting the Manhunters. Silver Scarab can shoot lasers from his eyes, and I did not know that. So Connor sees that, and he also starts shooting lasers from his eyes. That was pretty cool. But the big part, the big part of this, and Vinkman talked about it, was the reveal of Aya from the Green Lantern series that Jeremy Adams had a hand in writing. Then he was allowed to bring her into the comic run. So that's pretty cool. Good on him for being able to do that. That's pretty awesome. Also, you get a preview here of Gotham by Gaslight, the Justice League story, which I will be picking up. That looks really cool. Steampunk Justice League. So yeah, really good. Jeremy Adams. It's right up there with Superman as far as books you should be reading, ongoings from DC that are worth checking out. But my number one book of the week, though, which should be no surprise if anyone knows me, it is Spider-Man and Wolverine, issue number 2, from Mark Guggenheim and Carrie Andrews. As good as this cover looks, the inside is far more insane.
Captain America Civil War.
It is. There is that plot line. I was reading that and I was like, it kind of is, but I think this is done way, way better than. First of all, it
killed my appearance.
It opens up with this splash page right here, this vertical splash. The layouts on this are insane. I haven't had this much fun reading comic panel layouts in a long time. So Spider-Man, he found a recording in the first issue of his parents on a jet, and then somebody with Wolverine's silhouette shows up.
Show his mom. Show his mom, because it really.
His mom is kind of a babe.
His mom's Mary Jane.
His mom is kind of a babe. Peter clearly has a type, for a reason. So he thinks that Wolverine killed his parents. I mean, to be fair, that silhouette does look a lot like Wolverine. And then he asks Wolverine to explain, and he's like, listen, I can't. I've had so many messed up memories that I can't remember anything straight from back then. But then you just go and you're seeing the layouts as they're fighting, like the different panels and the screens from the recording, like just the way they're shuffled in there. It's just so cool looking. And then you get like here, and they're even more just jumbled all over the place. It's just hectic and frantic. And it's just great. And Peter and Wolverine are fighting. And this reminded me, like, I know we talk about how cool Spider-Man is and how strong he is, but like he goes nuts in this issue. Also, I did not realize that Red Skull was the one who ordered the hit on the Parkers. But apparently he was.
If you read Spider-Man Annual 5 from 1968, you would have known that.
I would have known. I probably also would have known or would have remembered what Punisher's first appearance was in, too. But there's also this page. Okay, this is the two most fun pages in the book. First of all, so Spider-Man punches Wolverine into a gas tank and explodes. And I was like, why does he look like Venom in this? And it's because his jaw is broken. His mouth's just hanging open. And then over on this page, this looks 3D. Like, that is just the coolest. The web bombs are coming, like, it looks like they're coming off the page. And Wolverine's, like, slicing through them. I mean, the colors and the action in this is insane. I really hope Carrie Andrews, and then there's this one where his claws, the action with the claws, and Spider-Man's just, like, leaping out of the way. I really hope Carrie Andrews had as much fun drawing this as I did reading this. This is just great. And then, there's just a lot more. Like, these two are just, like, not quitting. This really puts the Civil War fight to shame between Bucky and Cap and them. I think this puts it to shame. And so the final panel, the cliffhanger ending, of course, we know this isn't going to be serious or long lasting, but Wolverine guts them with the claws. And by the way, these guys both had complete costumes when the issue started. Now they're just like barely hanging on.
And I hate what they did to his face.
That is it is insane. Next issue, I don't know how the Savage Land is going to tie in, or the black suit, or the brown and gold suit, but I mean, this was just fun. I don't know how else to say it. The art was great, the fighting, the action, the panel layouts, everything about this was great. Marvel needs like 10 more books like this.
Hey, didn't you just give me a bunch of crap earlier about picking up books that nobody else picked up? And here you are.
No, I didn't give you crap. I just said you really do pick up books. I didn't recognize 3 or 4 of the books you picked up. So I wasn't giving you crap for it.
Okay.
You can pay attention on top 5.
I'm just pointing out that you just picked up a book that nobody else picked up.
Yeah, but
I didn't know about the ones you picked up. Like, you picked up some random titles
here's the
I
thing.
didn't know were made.
Here's the thing. The sleep book he showed and stuff, I showed that on the top 5. It's a League of Comic Geeks. You can see it. If you scroll through them, you can see the books.
I mean, there was sleep, but like the nuclear football one, I didn't know about the nuclear football one.
I didn't know about it either. So
yeah.
It was just
Here's the thing, though. Some of the books he's getting are probably on delays in a lot of shops. Like you said, I didn't get any Ultimate Spider-Mans at either of my shops. My one shop didn't get any Marvel. It's been 2 weeks since he's got a Marvel book.
That's wild. He must be doing something wrong with the ordering then.
No, it's not.
My shop hasn't had any issue getting Marvel.
It's the thing, though, is every shop is different.
I guess so. Maybe.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe your shop has Penguin. That's why they order through that. Their Marvel stuff.
Maybe.
They're switching from Diamond, trying to get over and get to a Penguin.
No, they don't. I don't think that they're getting anything else from Diamond. As of 2 weeks ago, I think they completely cut ties from Diamond.
My main shop pretty much has to wait to be approved by Penguin in order for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is it. That is
and also the Jackson, the Gotham by Gaslight Justice League, it looks amazing.
It does look like fun. I'm looking forward to that.
And see what happens when you can promote the return of something. Because remember that book that we were reading, Venkman, that I can't remember the title.
It's called Self-Help.
Self-Help. Okay, it was supposed to be back in May, and here it is, almost the end of June.
So here's the thing. The only reason I know it because I was organized my books last night. I'm like, hey, it's Self-Help.
Yeah, I bet you that never comes back.
Oh, I know. It probably won't.
I picked up the Jughead facsimile.
And here's the thing, though, Eric. It may have already came back. It's just that we didn't get it because of distribution.
Well, no, we would have seen it in the Comic Geeks in the solicits. I don't count this as one of the towards the total because this is like a textbook.
Yeah, it's a textbook.
It's a who's who.
Number 9, Defenders of the Earth. The team assembles. They defeat Crotan, and Dale might be alive. Crouton. And they defeat him and then put him on top of their salad.
Yep.
Number 8, Green Lantern.
There's a place to be.
Excellent. Space living is alive for me. We've already talked about this. The reason why it's number 8 is this was a terrific week.
It really was.
Really
it was a great week.
Best issue of Rockefellers. We find out definitively who it is that's trying to kill him. And I suspect there might be more to Mr. Martinez than meets the eye.
I would think so.
Nothing to base that on yet, but because he sure did take finding out pretty much what's going on in stride.
Well,
He really did. Having that, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah.
Well, no, you don't have to, because I'll say right now, I already read it.
You did? Oh, yeah. Having that face hugger on his face and being as calm as he was, like
him saying he's on the Witness Protection Program is in that. So they figured, and they, we're in there because
even being in Witness Protection, you had a.
He might just be an idiot. He might be Cody from Step by Step.
Might be a mob dude. Number 6, Predator versus Spider-Man. Talk about that. Excellent stuff. Nice. Number 5, Ultimate Spider-Man.
It's just a great Spidey week.
Very good, but not the best Ultimate Spider-Man. I was kind of disappointed by the end. She turned on. That's what she does. I don't know. That's I love the title, so I expect it to rebound. But it wasn't my favorite issue of the series so far. And I know that number 5, even with a great week, this is the lowest ranking I've ever given it. Number 4, Justice League. Very cool wrap up to a very cool story, and I'm kind of looking forward to how they figure out because maybe they're going to need Mr. Terrific to help send these people back, but he's going to be so far up his own ass over Airwave that he won't be able to help him.
I think Airwave will come back and
I'm kind of excited about the idea of Jonah Hex in the present, like not the future. I know there was a future Jonah Hex.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like I want to see how he does in the present.
Yeah. Marvel did that with Two Gun Kid in the 70s. He hung around with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
When they went back to 1843 or 1873, he came back with them. Number 3, Hyde Street. We finally see some, the human side of Pranky, and this was good. And I said, obviously you knew from the first panel that you saw the guy in the woods where that was going, but that's okay. It was a great story. I'm curious to see how what's the guy's Mr. X-Ray or whatever.
Yeah,
when he goes to him to get the mask off, that ought to be fun. Number 2, Superman. Excellent story. I said I like Lex's confession, and that he's not reverting to type, at least not yet.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are, and I like that. His original plan was that he was basically setting him up, but the generally had started to change.
Yep.
And then with the amnesia, but now he's got his memory back. He doesn't instantly want to go back to being bad. So.
The original goal was basically that Superman to fight with him, but once he started fighting alongside him, we realized that they make a good team.
Yeah, no, it's that's kind of hard to swallow with all the outlandish things Luthor's done in the past. But if you kind of just look at it as, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but if is this Lex the one that used to be president? Is this Lex, former member of the Legion of Doom? I mean, they've started and restarted so many times. I don't even know what.
That's what I said. Lex going good in anything. He's always been a complete asshole, egotistical thing. Him going good never made sense to me.
Well,
amnesia helped.
Well, I said or it could just be ego driven. Being bad didn't get me what I wanted. What would happen if I tried? If I became good? Anyway. Number 1, Huck. I love this. Yes. I don't know. So I didn't read previous Huck series, but the scene where he tackles the hitman out of the window and they go about 20 stories and just keep fighting. Yeah, I didn't know either one of those characters was that powerful. Now. It was hardly original that, of course, the guy's doing it because his family members being held hostage. But I like the way they didn't drag it out. Huck just says, "What's her name?" And then you cut to the scene where he basically busts his uncle, and they, like we say, I want you in jail, rather than kill you, because basically said, that's a
Well,
longer
they
punishment.
talked about how like the people with powers they usually have it. They're compelled to do good stuff. They can't do bad things.
But and I liked the twist at the end when he goes, "Did you get your powers from an old witch?" And you can see her in the last page splash. So yeah, this was I liked the first issue. This one was like, yeah, this is really, really good. It's like Vatican City was fine, but none of those 3 issues, to me was half as good as this.
I hope the series gets better. I looked at some of the issues ahead. Apparently, that girl's supposed to come back from the first issue, the one with the husband.
Yeah,
and she's pregnant.
Probably by Huck.
Oh, and by the way, cool shirt, man. Great movie.
This is usually Coco's binky.
Yeah, where is Lump?
She's cowering in the next room.
Wow, what did you do this time?
She was going at the wire so hard that I actually picked her up and put her on the couch because nothing else was working, and so she kind of ran away. But yeah, I said cats have memory slightly better than goldfish, so I'm sure when she wakes up she'll be fine. But and Rhaegar, if you were talking about this Red Skull thing, yeah, I was serious. It was the 1968 Spider-Man annual. Anyway,
All right.
I do have a handful of back issues.
Okay. And I roll a toilet paper.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, bad sinuses. Yeah, let's move that out of the way. Yeah, Avengers 59. First appearance of Yellow Jacket. 64. This is the issue where we learn Hawkeye's name is Clint Barton.
Oh.
Clint, I love you.
Captain America 125. Captain Marvel 25. Yeah, it sucks that there's a word written across Captain, but
Yeah.
this is a $150 book that I got for $5.
Hey.
So I'll take that.
Good point. Yeah.
Chamber of Chills #2 with Gil Kane and Tom Palmer. The Defenders 50.
Oh, nice.
Got your little Moon Knight up there. Fantastic Four 42. The Frightful Four brainwashed Ben into thinking the Fantastic Four is his enemy. And I think that's how they also got away with, like Medusa goes from being the Frightful Four to the first Inhuman story just a couple issues later. I think that's how they explained that whatever they used on, they did to Johnny in this issue too, that they used it on Medusa.
Okay. Speaking of, Dragon Man too. Wow.
You know what's crazy about these books? The thing actually looks a lot more lively than it is in the movie trailers.
Submariner and Aaron 38. This is the issue after Dorma dies during their wedding. Thor 7.
Oh man, God.
Tomb of Dracula #11.
Nice.
Vault of Evil #2.
Evil.
Werewolf by Night #19.
Nice. Do you have the other connecting issue?
Connecting issue.
Where there should be another issue before it or after that, where it's a 2-part story, isn't it?
Well, the vampires on the cover,
yeah,
they were killed in Dracula Lives issue 4 of the magazine.
Okay,
and I do have that
because I'm talking about you had Dracula versus.
But this is a 2-part story here, but
yeah,
I thought that was a little interesting bit of continuity that they used characters from the magazine into a comic. All right, let's see. Where Monsters Dwell, 21.
Ooh.
Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love, number 2.
The guy in the shadow with one leg.
Well, her dresses take up the other.
I know.
Sergeant Rock, 169. I didn't make a Zach joke.
That's why I'm laughing, because I was like, I'm waiting for the joke. Like, no one's making it. You're like, it's awkward.
There's issue 180. And probably the second coolest thing I picked up at the show, issue 203, 80-page giant, Sergeant Rock.
Oh, wow.
And this is in fantastic shape. And now for the stuff you really want to see. Girls Love,
there it
138.
You know, I have a movie called Girls Love, but I don't think it's got the same plot.
I would say you're safe there. I think this is 51.
I would say we're not safe.
Whatever girl had this book in the late 50s must have kept it on one of those, like those indoor like window seats.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like the sun got a hold of this. My Romantic Adventures, 131. Here's Our Love Story, number 6. And number 25. There's Secret Hearts, 142.
Nice.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'd take a loved one to this hospital. Yeah, they just bandage the head with the hair and all. Here's 143. 147. And the only teenagers older than the kids on Beverly Hills 90210, Teenage Love, 32. Seriously, they look 35.
That last cover or last book, the second last one, the white background. I said it looks like up here during winter. You have no leaves on the trees, and all it is this a void, empty void. Vince Collada is pretty much like the
I think
Jack Frost.
It's symbolism. It's to show the emptiness she's feeling.
There you go.
They look about the same age as the teenagers in the first Grease movie looked.
But yeah, that's all I got.
All right, cool.
Okay, you guys, you missed the best comic book related stuff this week. None of us brought that up.
What?
The first 3 episodes of Ironheart that dropped.
You talking about the comic book? Okay, the show.
That horrible.
He's talking about the
It
show.
starts off with the black girl stealing.
Yeah.
Very compelling.
I'd much rather watch The Bear.
Is that the
season 4 that just dropped?
Is that the hairy guy in the leather or the
No, it's the chef.
Oh, okay.
It's a guy. It's the younger brother from Shameless.
Is he from Shameless?
Yeah.
Ah, well, it's got the guy who's playing the thing.
He was the one that was banging the teacher.
The guy who's playing the thing is also. He's not the main guy. He's like the main guy.
Yeah. That's Eddie from Twilight. Or not Twilight. No, what was it called? Stranger Things. Yeah. Sorry.
Stranger Things?
Yeah.
No. That's the Human Torch. That's a different guy.
Oh. Anyway, tomorrow night, we got some readings for you guys tomorrow night around like 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing a little bit of Josie the Pussycats. For the girls, it's keeping up with the throwback stuff we did on the I Love Comics on Monday. So we're gonna do some Josie the Pussycats when they first became a band. So, and then following it up, wrapping up tomorrow night around 9:15, we'll have the Juggernaut bitch is back, starring Doctor Strange as well. So, got some still cool stuff coming up tomorrow night. You guys are ever want to be on a future reading, let us know down in the comment section down below, and we'll try to get you on here. And then Saturday morning, it's more Sonic Adventures, Sonic the Hedgehog, and then after that, go over by Dr. Silver Age and check out his channel, Comic Book Memories, and they'll be showing off some old stuff. Actually, you know what? Take it back. I just remembered. They're not back.
This week.
Not this week. They'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, come back next week because they show off some old stuff and comics.
Right? Yep.
That's good.
And then Michael Taylor has been filling up from Ramya, and he is very line happy. Jackson, go back and take control of the lines. I feel like Michael just has like 5 comments, line, 5 line. He just wants comic books, less talking. Poor Rod had like about 30 comments. And literally, it took him like, because he was by himself without Shannon, so he had to read my comment. It took about almost a half an hour to an hour. And Eric made a joke about, man, it's a 3-hour tour was shorter than this.
Yeah, I said the Minnow found an uncharted island faster than this stream.
I followed up. I said, in fact, I watched the whole entire show. Yeah, so.
Yeah, because I went to work and made a deal with Phil, so I had to leave early, and I got lunch, got home, and it's still going.
Yeah.
And I was at work for well over an hour. So I mean, it's like that thing just went on and on and on.
Yup. He would show.
Don't worry, kids.
So
you want to see Rod this weekend? Look for the strawberries.
It was the Lamb Chop song.
Yeah, well, the other big part is that a lot of people were asking him wrestling-related questions. So, you know how Rod is when he talks about wrestling. He just forgets he's even on a live stream. He just talks wrestling. And
do all of y'all talk about wrestling? Every time I watch one of Yule's streams, he's always talking about wrestling.
You know what? It's called being a man. We watch wrestling.
Well, Rod is a fan. Yule is a critic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Yule will take a minute to shit on AEW.
I'm a casual, pretty much. I don't really watch a lot of the older stuff. I watch AEW. Is what I watch now. You know,
but Rod watches and enjoys both.
Yeah.
Most people have kind of chosen a side at this point. But
I mean, wasn't like I hate WWE. It's just that I watched the better part. I watched back in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, going up to the 2000s. And then I just kind of left because everybody else left. All the wrestlers are gone that I liked. So, but don't worry, kids. Goldberg's back.
Well, the Attitude Era was sort of like, you know, when the team you root for becomes like a 6 or 7 year dynasty. It'd be like the Bulls fans experienced during Jordan.
Yep.
There might be reasons to still like the Bulls, but it's never going to be what it was. No matter what WWE does, I mean that era was just there's just something to it because they did it with no names because Ted Turner had bought all of Vince's big names.
I watched that match with Regal again versus Goldberg. Goldberg cannot wrestle. He is just a bad. He's a 2-move guy, and that's it.
Well, that's not fair though when you're talking about Regal because Regal
had enough of his crap at that point.
But because Regal is just excellent at that. It's just, but you know what, you need Goldbergs just like you need tacticians in the ring.
Gunther versus Goldberg now. I don't think we need Goldberg anymore.
That'll be 5 minutes, and that way they don't have to waste anybody on Goldberg. I mean, on Gunther, they can just basically because what are they gonna do? Jey Uso again? They don't have anybody lined up yet. This is like something to buy him time.
It's been so long. I can't remember what Gunther's originally name was.
Walter.
Go back online. You can find it. Walter versus what's his name? Ospreay. Yeah, that match is just phenomenal, and to see how much Walter wrestled better in that match than he does in WWE.
Well, there's a reason for that.
WWE is overprotective about things.
Well, no, it's just
They let
Will
it
Ospreay
loose.
is a better wrestler than anybody they have. Gunther doesn't have anybody to do that with here.
Yeah. Rey
I mean,
Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio is too old to be that effective.
Actually, you know what? Put Walter in with Penta. You'll get a good match.
Nobody would care.
I know.
WWE fans
Would not
probably don't care about
yeah.
Gunther because he's a wrestler, and WWE fans don't want that. That's why they've have him be more brash and arrogant now.
Oh, yeah. CM Punk is being ripped apart online because he basically pushed a little kid away when they're at the Middle East thing. Little kid came up to him and like when I was going to autograph it, he's kind of like shoved to the side and kind of like kept walking.
Oh, that's rude.
People are like, well, parents should let their kids know wander up to him. It's like, yeah, but it's like even if you don't want to send autographs, it was a kid like 5 or 6, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you can stop and like, hey, what's up, pose, and that's it, and then leave. You don't have to like. So I don't know, like if maybe he did because sometimes the wrestlers are heels that do that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But CM Punk, I thought, as far as I thought, he was a face in the company, but
he is.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's probably let the mask slip for a second.
But somebody said because the kid wasn't trans, that's why he didn't care.
Oh, I promise you, it is hurting his soul to be there.
Right?
Did Sammy make the trip?
I don't know. I didn't look. I have to go check. But I guess the pay-per-view was today, wasn't it? For that Saudi Arabia thing?
Saturday.
I don't know. Yeah, it's Saturday night. They're doing Saturday night main event from there, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess they're already there apparently.
No.
So anyway, we're gonna wrap it up here unless you guys have anything else to talk about.
I've got food to eat.
Yeah, I was gonna go watch that new show Ballard, and I realized it was coming out to July 12th. I thought it was already out.
Oh,
people keep talking about it, but it's gonna come out later. So
same night as All In,
right? You know what's gonna be better?
Well, All In will be over by 8:00 because they're doing it during the day because WWE's running a show that night.
My prediction is that Tony's gonna lose the title.
I don't know if they're going to give Sasha Banks 5 belts.
I don't know, but will Mox drop his title or Mox hang on to his?
If he doesn't, the AEW is going to get shredded.
I think Hangman will. They're really putting Hangman up and everything.
You've got to do it. People are just beyond sick of Moxley right now.
Yeah.
But there are rumors that they're saving it for Darby.
I really hope because Darby's not big enough to hold a heavyweight championship.
I couldn't agree more.
He should be a TNT because that's a cruiserweight title, pretty much. But anyway, if they do give it to Darby Allin, I want MJF to come over and just annihilate him and take the title. That'd be the only outcome I would approve, but. All right, guys, you know the drill. If you haven't done so, please click like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We will be back tomorrow night. Well, 2 of us will for the reading with the Lesters. And I guess there's a cover ranking tomorrow night, too, around 10:30 Eastern.
Yeah.
On I Love Comics. So
yeah.
Until then, we'll have a happy Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care,
Good
guys.
night, kids.
Later.
See you.